Hi, I'm Gary Cohen, CEO of Cova Software. The POS is the heart of your operation because it's what keeps track of everything that goes on within your store. Not only the inventory, but what actually gets reported to your regulatory bodies. It can help facilitate a good shopping experience, both at the check-in, in the shopping process, and as customers check out. That ease of use, ease of operation translates to a good experience when a customer visits your store. It really starts when you do discovery and you're trying to find someone who can provide this necessity or this service to running a dispensary. Is that search process easy? Can you find us? When you do find us, is the information we provide clear and concise? Do we provide education? Do we provide information or content that you didn't even know that you needed to open and run a dispensary? The next phase is launch. And this is such a huge piece of what Cova does, and it differentiates us. That's how do we help you get everything together to open your dispensary? Or if you're coming from another point of sale, how do we make that switch over relatively easy and concise so that by the time you open, your team is knowledgeable on the use of Cova, the elements that are important to be compliant in your state are learned and understood, and that your initial transactions are smooth, effective, and accurate. Unlike any other retail, the cannabis industry has an enormous amount of regulatory and compliance requirement around any transaction you do. There's certain states or provinces in the US and Canada that don't operate with a state traceability system. However, most do. Most have some sort of reporting requirement that you have to do. Well, a regular cash register or just a regular retail POS isn't going to keep track of all the batch and tracking numbers associated with every gram of cannabis that goes through the supply chain. And you're expected to keep track of it in your retail store. One of the things I would always check into is how many safeguards are built into the software to, whether purposely or innocently, prevent a bud tender from over-dispensing, from overselling what's legally allowed. And the worst thing you could do is sell to children or expose children to cannabis. So does the software have safeguards built in to check IDs, to check as to whether that ID is even valid? And if it's not, prevent the person from going any further with a possible transaction. One of the ways that Cova got into this business was that when we interviewed all these dispensary owners, they said, our POS always goes down on 4/20, which is the equivalent of Black Friday in any other retailer. And it goes down all the time, or we lose connectivity. You need to look at the history of the POS companies. You can almost Google any one and do the company name and 4/20, and you'll see how reliable they are. Do they build the network for those busy days? So look for solutions that have an offline mode and a capability to continually transact, capture all the information while the internet is down. And then when the internet comes back, it'll sync up and push all the information up. That's reliability that keeps the continuity of your store going. And the most important thing is sales keep going. Every single jurisdiction that we operate in changes something about what you can buy, when you can buy it, how much you can buy, who can buy it, every year. Well, it's up to us to adapt our software to keep you within those safeguards or those lanes to be compliant. That's an element of support that's back in the back in software land. But up front, you have a lot of turnover in your store. Hopefully you don't, but you do. You have managers changing out, bud tenders cycling through. And how do they get trained? How do they understand how to use the software? What's provided to help ramp them up, keep them current? Can you call someone? Can you figure out, is there a call you can make? Is there an online capability to answer the question? Is there chat? And of all those methods to try to solve this, what's the quickest, easiest, most reliable? And in the meantime, you're running a store. There's still customers coming and going. We got to fix this now. So look at the level of support. You definitely want to shop that. With so many companies to choose from in this space, how do you figure out which one's the best fit? Think about where your company wants to be and who it wants to be. What's that brand promise? And does this technology support the brand that you have? If you want to sell in-store and you want to sell online, does the POS company have the ability to support that type of capability? If you want to add delivery, does the POS have that ability to do that? When you think about what goes on in the store, do you want to sell from behind a counter? Do you want to get out from behind the counter and work with people throughout the store and take orders on a tablet in real time? All those questions about the experience you want your customer to have, in addition to what's important to running our dispensary. The investments we make as a profitable company in not only the product, but in trying to stay ahead of where the industry goes, contributes to we're not going to be successful unless you're successful. And that's really what we're all about.